Happy winter break, Hawk Nation. Jake Ward with you here for episode 5 of the HNU HawkCast. We've got a rivalry matchup to talk about on both the men and women's basketball side of things. We're going to sit down with head coach of men's basketball, Omar Sachez, for our weekly Coach's Corner segment. And this week, we will have a special guest stop by. Women's basketball player Taylor Krouse will be by to talk about her senior year and talk about her time here at HNU. But as always, we're going to start with women's basketball as they took on Dominican this past Sunday here at Tobin Gymnasium. Now, unfortunately, it was a loss for the Hawks by a final score of 102-59. The bright spot, however, Janasia Martin dropped a double-double as she totaled 14 points with 12 boards. Both were team highs for the Hawks. And Taylor Krouse, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc, the best Hawk from three-point range in the game. The team did come down with 30 rebounds and had a total of 16 second chance points, in which they did beat Dominican in that category. And then after the women's game, HNU men's basketball took on Dominican in their first home contest of the season. Remember, they were slated to face Cal State Monterey Bay and Chico State here at Tobin Gymnasium. Both games were either relocated or outright canceled due to the smoky conditions that we had. So in the home opener for the HNU men's basketball team, they were able to come out on top over the Penguins, dropping them by a final score of 71-58. Leading the Hawks in scoring was Andre Green and Jake Dean with 10 points each, while Cavante Davis added 9 rebounds. And we'll dive into this game a little bit more as we talk Coach's Corner with head coach Omar Sachez after the break. But one final thing before we get to that, Hawk Nation, is we will be doing the podcast, of course, this week, what you're hearing right now, as well as next week, but we will be off over New Year's and over Christmas. So if you don't hear us for a little bit, no worries. We will be back right after the New Year's Day break, and we will have a lot of games that are coming up to talk to you about then as well. So stick around with us after the break as we come back with HNU men's basketball head coach Omar Sachez in the Coach's Corner.
Welcome to the HawkCast, presented by HNU Athletics.
And we're here with men's basketball head coach Omar Sachez, and we're here to discuss Sunday night's win against Dominican, HNU men's basketball home opener after all the cancellations. So, Coach, talk to me about the win. You guys came out hot. It was a great defensive effort. You guys are number 1 in the conference in defense. What pleased you about your defensive effort last night?
Well, for us, it really starts there defensively for us, being able to put pressure everywhere, and we have the personnel to be able to do that. And there's certain things that we try to do to teams that against Dominican we were pretty successful doing. We really challenged them in their offense and took some of their continuity out. Our full court press really gave them some problems, and our guys, to their credit, really pressured them in the half court to really force some shots and take some bad shots. We also took a couple chargers in there with their bigs who, they put their head down and just go. And so, we put it together very nicely last night with defense.
Couple charges early on that you guys were able to draw really set the tone, I thought. And you've mentioned in the past that there's 3 categories that you really like to keep an eye on: rebounds, turnovers, and 50-50 plays. And according to you, last night you won 2 of the 3. Walk me through that.
Well, we want to win all 3, and last night we were plus 14 on boards. I think we were on turnovers. We were at 0, which for us is a win if we can break even or go plus 1 on turnovers. The one that we really struggled with last night, we were 2 and 4 against 50-50 plays. There were some plays there that we should have gotten on the floor for loose balls. There were some balls that went out of bounds, and they jumped out and grabbed them and create their own luck there. So, but I always say if you can win 2 of the 3, you give yourself a chance. If you can win all 3, you're going to win a lot of games. If you win 1, then you're going to really struggle. And so far in this 3 games we've had, this is the first one where we've won 2 of the 3 minimally. And the past ones we've lost the turnover and lost the 50-50 battle, and so we did give ourselves a chance, though we defended well enough in the last 2 games to win, really.
And now you held Dominican to 58 points. They did have a player with 23 points, but outside of that, you guys were really able to keep them off the boards. And your defensive effort, like we mentioned, number one in conference has been stellar. I know you said they got some points late down the stretch, but I know you pride yourself on being a defensive team. Has the team really embraced that as well?
Well, you can't really say in 3 games we have, and some of the mistakes that we made have been disciplinary mistakes. When APU, we reached in and they got back in the free throw line. Biola, we did the same thing, reached in a lot, and so we can start buying into just being more disciplined. And the thing about defense, man, is just you got to be greedy, and part of being greedy is being disciplined. And last night we were the most disciplined we've been so far this year, where we didn't bail them out. We really walled up really well. Jordan came in and gave us some blocks out of the weak side, and so we did a lot of great things defensively last night that I felt really contributed to the win for us.
And now looking at the offensive part of the game last night, your leading scorers were Andre and Jake Dean with 10 points each, but you guys had 31 bench points, a category where you beat them 31-7. Now, what does that say about your team depth?
Well, it's funny because our first 2 conference games we couldn't score enough and really struggled trying to figure out some continuity. And we've made some adjustments offensively as far as what we're going to do, and so I think it paid dividends last night against Dominican. I feel like we have a lot of guys that can score, and if when our team embraces that and understand we also had 13 assists, which we shared the ball really well and found guys, and guys were able to make shots. And so that's the key to a team, that if you can defend well enough and you got enough guys that can hurt you at opportune times, then you give yourself a chance, because basketball is a game of runs. And so if you can sustain a certain run and put teams away in certain ways, offense is one of the ways you can do that with guys that they're not expecting to score.
And now you guys also had 32 points in the paint. You won that category, and you had 15 second chance points coming off the strength of that plus 14 rebound advantage that you had mentioned. But getting back to the defense, one person that really took that defensive effort to heart was Jordan Bryant. And just yesterday, he was announced as the PacWest Defender of the Week. He had 3 blocks, a steal, he had 5 rebounds, 3 of them on the defensive end. But to you said he was also altering shots. So what was he able to do so effectively against Dominican?
Jordan's a kid that we got from Southern California, Riverside, and he was just taught to be athletic, and he is extremely athletic. And so we're trying to give him some structure, and then he's been struggling with structure a little bit. And against Concordia, Portland, he made us play him. He did enough things to get more playing time, and so right now he's been struggling with playing time. But last night against Dominican, he really made it a point to get after the ball, alter shots, rebound. He got a steal, a lot of positive things that Jordan did, and that's what he's capable of. It's just sometimes kids have a hard time embracing what they're going to be for a team, and Andre's been our defensive guy really here since he's been here. I think Jordan can be a tempo setter for us defensively with the 4s and 5s. It's just for him to really realize that and know that that's his identity. It's going to be really special to have him embrace that.
Well, it's an honor for Jordan. We're glad that he was able to get it. And now as we turn the attention ahead, you've got a game tonight, an exhibition contest against Sacramento State. So what are you looking to really see out of your team tonight?
Well, obviously when you play D1 opponents, it's a different beast. There's different game flows. The game's officiated differently. So I think it's a good change for our guys. I think our key thing is whether or not, one, can we defend against a very good Sac State, who's right now 4-2. They're coming off a loss against Portland, but they're having a good year this year. But can we defend, and then can we handle their pressure? Can we handle their pressure on the offensive side? Have some continuity, see our progressions in our offense, and be able to execute with that level of pressure. I think it'll be good prep for us before we head out to Hawaii.
Yeah, good prep indeed. As you guys head out to Hawaii, you'll face Hawaii Pacific on Thursday, Chaminade on Saturday, and UH Hilo on Monday. So take me a little bit through your upcoming Hawaii trip and what you expect to see out there on the islands.
Hawaii is always tough just because you get out there and it's Hawaii. And so you got guys that haven't been there, And so, the other tough part is we're not in school right now, and so they're on their break, and so they don't have hours and hours of study hall every day to distract them. So we're trying to balance and be very opportunistic on this trip. I think we draw well with Hawaii Pacific. I think we match up well against them. And so it'll be interesting. Last year we were up 17 against them at their place. We ended up almost losing that game. To Hawaii Pacific's credit, they cut the lead to 1, and we were able to pull out that win. Chaminade is one of those teams where they're looking for you to outscore them because they can score, and they're averaging 90 points a game. They're probably leading our conference in scoring. So for us, it possesses a different challenge in the sense of, okay, well, what can we do to stop them? What can we do to disrupt what they like to do? And Coach Bovard does a great job at Chaminade to recruit guys that are offensive weapons. And so they got 5 guys that average double figures. So we'll see. We'll see. It's one of those matchups where you got the best offense versus the best defense in the conference, and we'll see what that looks like. I'm looking forward to the opportunity with our guys if we can really show up and take care of Chaminade. But it's going to be tough to go their place and get a W. And then Hilo's one of those teams where I think in this conference we've developed a rivalry with, to be honest with you, and it's been nice to have. With Dominican, we've had a rivalry for so many years, being in the Cal-Pac before, and now I think in the PacWest, as much as Dominican is still one of our rivalries because of the sisters, Hilo's become a rivalry for us because it's just a battle. And being a Hilo, you play at the Civic Center. They don't play on their campus. It's a little bit different feel. That floor is slippery, and so it possesses a different challenge for us. Can we stay together? There are going to be a lot of rowdy people in that gym, which I love that environment. Can we stay focused and be together? I think if we can do that and be disciplined on defense, I think this Hawaii trip can really bode well for us if we can just stick to our defensive principles and be solid.
Yeah, rivalries really give the game that little extra that you really need. Now, does it give the players a little more to play for? Do they approach it differently, being that this rivalry has been developing over the past 2 to 3 years?
Part of why I think this rivalry has happened, to be honest, I'll give credit to our baseball team, man. Our baseball team here at Holy Names, they know how to get under people's skin, and I love them at our games and their support that they have to our program. And so, when they come to our place, which has been the last 2 years, it's been a nail biter. It's been, a really good, rough game with a lot of stuff going on. And so this is the first time we get to play them at their place. And so it'll be interesting. But I feel like those rivalries, are always good for the game of basketball. And like I said, for us, it's an opportunity to not focus on that, to focus on the game itself. We don't want to get caught up in the piece of what's going on outside of the lines. And so contrary to what is going to be said in those stands, which is going to be a lot of things. And, kids nowadays with social media, they put their whole life on social media. So, girlfriends' names come up, all kinds of things come up that they post on their social media or Twitter or whatever they do. And so, can we stay focused? Can we stay with the prize in hand? And that's the W for us. And so if we can do that, I think it'll be great. Blocking
out the noise will be crucial. And now I know you like to take each game at a time. You never want to look too far ahead. But looking at the Chaminade match, like you said, one of the best offenses in the conference going up against the number 1 defense. What are some ways specifically that you're looking to slow them down?
Well, for us, it's just recognizing tendencies and what they do. And again, I thought against Dominican we were pretty physical on the ball. So can we wear them down? Can we speed them up in certain ways that they're not used to? And to be honest, I really haven't seen much film. I've seen their scores. I haven't seen much film. We're currently doing the film breakdown on Hawaii Pacific, and like I said, we take it game by game. But being in the conference now 7 years, they spread you. They hurt you with different guys. If we can really limit rotations against them and win the one-on-one battles, I think we'll give ourselves a chance.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for sitting down with us for the Coach's Corner segment this week. Hawk Nation, stick with us after the break. we're back on the HNU HawkCast. We're here with women's basketball player Taylor Krouse. And now, Taylor, we're going to start with this. Just 10 days ago, when you guys were playing in Southern California at Biola, you had your 200th career assist. What does that mean to you to hit 200 career assists in HNU program history?
It was definitely a pretty special moment. I came in starting as a point guard and ended up moving to the 3 position this last year, and now I'm playing that this year. So it's pretty cool just to have that feeling and know that I'm getting my teammates the ball, because, I mean, that's how I was raised to play the game, dish it out, get the teammates open. And so, I mean, it helps when you have teammates who get in there, get extra shots up, and I trust them to knock the shot down. So it's pretty awesome.
And now you're number 11 all time right now. You have the chance to make it into the top 10, but as you look back over your entire career, what are some of your favorite moments or some of the memories that really jump out to you?
Definitely favorite moments are just practices when you can really just feel the team coming together, and like when we go through a time where we're struggling as a team, but we come together and just you can really just feel the vibe of the team. And also traveling with them is always a fun time. Just going to places that I've never been to before, like Hawaii. I never went to Utah before, and just things like that. As a team, you experience a lot of stuff, and you get really close with them on those trips.
Speaking of places that you had never been before, you guys are taking your last Hawaii trip this season, the last of your career, starting tomorrow. So what's some things that you're looking forward to out there on the islands?
Yeah, definitely excited to just hang out with the team on in Honolulu, down on the strip in the city. Take some walks on the beach, just see some fun stuff that we can get into and hang out. It's always a fun time down there. Maybe hang out at the swap meet and buy everyone some gifts or something. So get the Christmas present shopping done down there.
Gotta get it done early. Now, do you have a favorite place to eat while you're out there? Is there something that you always look forward to doing out in Hawaii?
Our coaches are always really good about finding like these hole-in-the-wall spots, and so they're like really small, but the food is just fantastic. Like, it's like local food, and it's just they find something good every year for us, so that's always exciting.
Can't beat those local spots. But
Exactly.
Going back to places that you had been this year, in your senior year, you got to go back and play a couple games in Washington, kind of near your hometown area. Now, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was over Thanksgiving time, so I was super thankful just for the opportunity to be able to go back home and play in front of my home crowd. I had a lot of family and friends that were able to come out, and I'm just super thankful my team sacrificed their Thanksgiving for me to be able to go out there. And my coach, he promised me that we would go out there, so he kept his promise, and it was really cool that he did that, so it was fun.
Now, I'm sure you had, like you said, a lot of friends and family out there. Was it tough to focus with all of them out there, knowing that, hey, this is my last time playing out this way?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking, but me and my team, we played really well. We showed up to those games, and we battled, and it made it really fun to play in front of my home crowd for that last time, so it was cool.
And now, speaking of playing for the last time, like we've mentioned, it's your senior year, it's your last season. You guys just started conference play. You're getting ready to go out to Hawaii. What's something that you're personally looking to accomplish over the final stretch of the season?
Yeah, something I want to accomplish is definitely just enjoying my last year and just having the most fun with it that I can. So far, I mean, this is the game that I love, and I want to end it with a bang. So just really enjoying all the moments and taking it all in, because I know it's not going to last forever.
Is there a team that you're looking forward to playing the most? Is there any sort of like rivalry that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing all the schools, because I just, we would just want to beat all of them down. But NDNU is definitely one of the ones that is one of our biggest rivals, I would say. So I always look forward to that game.
What about NDNU really sparks that rivalry for you guys? How come you want to beat them so bad?
I think it's just because they're pretty close to us, and it's always just kind of been, ever since I was a freshman, the seniors all go, oh yeah, we want to just beat them down. And I was like, okay, well, let's get them then. So it's just kind of carried over through the years.
And so as we creep forward to graduation, do you have any plans for life after HNU?
Yeah, I want to try to get a GA position somewhere. I'm thinking Southern California right now, but to get my master's in business, and then pursue sports management somewhere in that field. So.
Well, all the best of luck to you, Taylor. Thanks for joining us here on the HawkCast. Stick around as we wrap up the HNU HawkCast right after the break. Well, that's all the time we have for episode 5 of the HNU HawkCast. I'd like to thank you for joining me, Hawk Nation, as well as thank HNU men's basketball head coach Omar Sachez and HNU women's basketball player Taylor Krouse for stopping by. We always appreciate it. Reminder that we will be off for 2 weeks from Christmas through New Year's. We'll be back here on January the 7th. But don't forget next week. Next week will be our last podcast of 2018. We will have a couple special conversations with Josh Hammer and Garrett Mitchell about the life of an HNU student athlete, as well as meet with women's volleyball head coach Mike Gomez and talk to him about his first season now that he's got it completely wrapped up with women's volleyball. So we'd like to thank you for joining us, Hawk Nation, and we will see you next week on the HNU HawkCast.